Hello, everyone, and welcome to not one, not two, but the third Chrome Management webinar. This has been an awesome series so far, and for those of you who have been coming back again and again, thank you for spending all that time with us. For those of you who are brand new this time around, we have recordings of the first two webinars, and we will have another recording of this one as well. So feel free to watch the old ones, rewatch the new one. But yeah, let's dig in. All right, so this webinar for today is we're going to be discussing all the different ways that Chrome devices can even be used. So as it's titled, Chrome devices wear many hats. I'm here with Tristan and Jason again today. They are so excited to continue within this series. Both Tristan and Jason work on our Google deployment team here at Cloud Bakers. And again, I'm Ashley. I head up our marketing team, a mixture between sales and marketing, and I'm really excited to be here with them as well. So our agenda for today's webinar, we are first going to dive into public sessions, and then go into digital signage, take a look at some kiosk opportunities, and finally look at using Chrome devices as primary devices for each employee at your company. So we have a lot to cover. As always, if you would like to ask a question, if you are signed into this webinar and logged into Google+, you are more than welcome to ask questions, and we will answer those at the end. So next, we're going to dive into public sessions with Jason.
Thanks, Ashley. Like Ashley was saying, the first thing we're going to talk about here is public sessions, and the main benefit of public sessions is the shareability of Chrome devices. So you can have one device and grant access to users and not require them to use a username or password to log into the device. And you still have the same security procedures that we went into great detail about 2 weeks ago on these devices. So even though the users aren't logging in, you can still restrict websites, you can restrict app access, you can just basically give them a safe mode browser and have them do whatever they need to do on that public device. We do this personally here at Cloud Bakers. We have our own Chrome device set up in our foyer there. So whenever we have guests or anybody that's never seen a Chromebook before, you can come over and play around with it and see all the different things that you can do with a Chrome device without even having a Google account or anything like that. But at the same time, if somebody does have a username and password, you can give them the option to log into a Chrome device, and it pulls all their normal information that they have access to that's been given to them from your IT admin on this device. So no matter what device or anywhere somebody logs in with their username and password, people have the same access. And another thing that's good about the public sessions is when a session is closed, all the data is removed from the device. So you don't have to worry about security or anything like that. It's just as tight with a public session as it is with somebody logging in as a primary device with a password and everything.
So all my bookmarks come over no matter where I log into? Like, if I can go log in the one in the foyer, it just comes up?
Yeah, as long as you have them saved on your Chrome profile, you're all set.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a great thing to have everything signed up with Chrome. So I think, Tristan, you want to go over some digital signage?
Yeah, definitely. You know, like Ashley said, this is the third in our series of webinars, and you may have seen in one of our previous webinars all about Chrome signage. You know, we use Chrome signage a lot, you know, digital signage for a ton of different things. And so we want to talk a little bit about some of those benefits. We'll also show off something that we've just built this morning and some of the other things you can do with it, you know, cost-wise as well. So right off the bat, when we look at doing digital signage, first of all, the big benefit is that anything that we want to push out automatically goes to those signs, right? In the past, when you think about traditional signage, you think about you know, shipping some artwork out and some resources out to a print shop. They draw everything up, they print it out, they put a nice finish on it, and then they have to ship it back to you. And then you've got to display that, you know, for a certain amount of time, basically long enough to make it worth your while. With Chrome signage, all you have to do is draw up some artwork, throw it out there, right? You can change things on the fly. It's localized too. So I can take the same artwork and push it out to 2 different signs, or I can do the 2 totally different signs in our location, right? So upstairs I might show all the different conference rooms we have open for that day, or directions to and from different meeting rooms and things like that. Whereas downstairs in the lobby, maybe I want to show off some more information about our company, do a little advertising, or just play fun videos throughout the day. So there's a lot of stuff we can do, to really to really show the differences even within the same building. It also allows you to react to customers faster, right? If there's social media, something trending on social media, and you want to get that out right in front of your customers' eyes, you can. A lot of places use Chrome signage for retail menu boards, or for instance, show times in a movie theater. So if something new comes out, or a new trailer releases, or something like that, you can throw that out to a Chrome sign right in front of the people in the lobby, without them ever knowing that that was done 5 minutes ago. And then lastly, you have the ability to execute any type of sign. So I kind of alluded to this, but you can show show times for upcoming movies. You can show Twitter mentions of your company online. You can show a reel of anything that you've produced in the past year. Internally, you can put a TV in a project area, so your project managers can see what's going on, and it tracks metrics related to what you're doing in your business. And then, like I said, advertising, right? It's perfect for showing off the message that you're trying to share with your users. So in that respect, we put together something this morning just to show off kind of how easy it is to just build something into a website and push it out to a Chrome sign. So if we switch to our Chrome sign that we built this morning, as you can see there, what we're looking at is basically just a monitor. And we have the Chrome bit that you can see down below that near the stand plugged directly into the monitor. And we saw immediately it went from our animated blue kind of Iron Man style arc reactor type of artwork straight over to our blog, where we've got kind of a stylized blog, some stock art, but people can do the Cloud Bakers Coffee Hour, and they can see more information about what we're doing and how it's coming up in the future. So you could obviously see showing off the blog in your front area in your lobby to highlight some of the things you're doing, and then you could just throw up the artwork that we just saw on before to do something kind of eye-catching in your space. So it's good for design as well.
You could also embed YouTube videos. So if your company has a bunch of YouTube videos you've already produced, you can put those directly into a signage.
Yeah, that's true. Not only can you do YouTube videos, you can do anything on the internet. You can put together a web page. You can show your own company's website. You can, like we did with our blog, we just throw up our blog so that it shows a lot of information. You could even just throw in a Google Slides, a Google presentation, and just have that cycle through and go through all the transitions and show off, anything that you want. So it can be as complex or as easy as pie, right? And no matter what you're looking to invest time-wise into it, you can get something great out of it. So cost-wise, we talked about the ease of pushing things out and a lot of the different stuff you can do, but I also want to talk about, how we're looking cost-wise versus traditional signage. So the total cost of ownership for Chrome signage is much lower than traditional signage. If we think about printing up a 36 by 48 poster, having them, develop all the artwork, print it up on a nice poster board, something like that, so that it doesn't look fuzzy, ship it out to you, and let's say we're doing 3 of those, right? So we've got 3 on our little metric there. When we ship that out, it ends up being about $432 on average. With Chrome signage, you can throw anything that you want. All you need to do is get your Chrome device and a 32-inch screen, already high def, and you can throw up an unlimited amount of signs. Because we've all made mistakes, right? and I'm sure any one of you can attest. When you have something printed up, you want to bring it out to a trade show, or you just want to hang it in the lobby, and it finally gets to you, and you're excited, and you open the box, and you find out they spelled your name wrong, or somebody didn't fact check something, or something like that. You instantly doubled your costs because you need to go back to the printer and say, look, we need another one, and then wait your time for it finally to get shipped out to you so you can check it again. Instead of doing all that and wasting your time dealing with somebody else and waiting for that to come out, with Chrome signage, if you misspell a word, if you don't fact check something, if you throw up a graphic of your Halloween costume instead of a graph about your sales numbers, you can quickly switch that out and push it out before anybody's too embarrassed. So it happens, within 5 minutes.
So you don't have to worry about spelling mistakes anymore?
Yeah, well, you have to worry about eventually checking it, Jason.
Spell check for.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what Chrome Signage is for. You just spell check the heck out of it and then send it back out, and you're good to go. The other thing is, instead of just changing things in minutes, you can also set these up in minutes. Okay, we do deployments where we'll get 5, 10, 15 of these. We'll push out different resources and things to the different Chromebooks or Chrome devices. We'll push out Wi-Fi network information, and then we'll send them out on their way to whoever they need to go to. So they already come pre-configured and set up for the internet. All you have to do when you get there is plug one end into the HDMI port on your TV and another end into power. It pulls everything else off the internet and it's ready to go. It also does auto updates. Okay, so the Chrome Signage platform itself is continuously being improved and being made more stable. But not only that, it just pulls your changes, time after time after time, grabbing anything new that you throw up on the internet. So it's easy to auto update that as well. And then lastly, it can be remotely managed. We have several clients now who are setting them up where we can ship a Chrome device out to Germany with the right platform on it, and it's just going to pull the information from whoever's setting it up in the United States. From here in Chicago, we can display information to people in the lobbies of our buildings in Spain. So it's very easy to remotely manage. So I've talked enough about Chrome Signage. We have a whole new webinar coming up in the future about Chrome Signage, how to push things out, what the best way is to manage that content and push it out for your business. But right now I'm going to let Jason take over talking about kiosk mode for Chrome devices as well.
Yep, definitely. So the kiosks and signage can be kind of similar, but there is one major difference. With kiosks, those can be user interactive. So you can have users that have the capability to have a touch screen, touch something specifically on there, where signage is more you're just looking at information, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can connect customers and empower them on the spot. With Chrome, you can also use the entire screen. Like with signage, you can have a full display. You don't have to worry about scroll bars or anything like that. It's just a full screen of what you want to design for your company. So it's a very immersive experience for the users. The larger the screen, obviously, the better the candidate for the touchscreen capabilities. You don't want people to touch a little minute thing. People like me that have huge hands and cell phones, you get enough of that. You can also set these up as a good opportunity as a point of sale kiosk. So if you kind of see on our slide here that if the person's at it's like a dry cleaners, they can just come over there, pick up their order from there, and do their point of sale information right there directly. So that's obviously just one little example. Another one is digital mapping. So if you remember going to malls, like Tristan and I probably did when we were teenagers, because we're the old enough ones here who have gone to malls. You probably remember the big old map in the center of the mall that says you are here. You couldn't really figure out where you were, where anything else was. They were very confusing. But now you can build pretty much a digital map and have the user interact and be able to tap on it and find directions and how to get them to places.
Kids these days have it easy.
Yeah, I know, right? Now, yeah, so you can get to your direction very quickly, and kiosks don't have to be enhanced. Digital signs, they can be used as a customer service role as well. So I think we've touched on in one of our previous webinars how people at a company come in, they just log in, and they just launch a kiosk app, which is their customer service portal. So they're directly into all the applications that they need. So that's just another way to use kiosk mode. They don't have the opportunity to do anything else. They can just access their customer service apps to do ticketing systems, voice calls, things like that, just directly from the kiosk itself. And the cost of ownership over the long term is a lot lower if you have these devices, because one IT staff can manage all of these different kiosks in different locations. So instead of having to have customer service reps in, say, that mall, for instance, pointing people where to go, you just have this one little device and it does it for you. So it keeps costs a lot lower for your company. You can also develop anything for Chrome OS. So I know we've just given you a few basic examples here, but anything that is specific to your company can most likely be made on Google and pushed out to your Chrome devices. I know Alex here loves doing that kind of stuff, so contact him and he can get anything for your Chrome device.
Yeah, one of the coolest ones I saw was a company was hiring chefs, and in their corporate office they had basically in the lobby 3 machines all set up in Chrome kiosk mode, and all it was an app to submit their resume, fill out some basic information. They could type up anything they wanted to, link to a website, and then once they click send, it basically sent it to HR, a few offices over, so they could kind of, get in there and started using the technology before they even got hired. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like they're pointing out, like the options are limitless. So whatever you can think of, you can push out to your device here. So yeah, that's the basics there of kiosks and the options that we have. So if you want to go over, Tristan, some primary devices and some security details for us.
Yeah, definitely. So security is my thing here at Cloudbakers, and if you have dealt with me in the past, you know that I'll constantly go over two-step verification, having strong passwords, and things like that. But one of the biggest benefits I think to having Chrome devices as your primary devices is security. We talked a lot about last time about how you can configure the experience, push out apps, push out bookmarks, and lock things down so that users aren't behaving inappropriately, but also give them a whole bunch of other capabilities that they might not have known they may have had. Well, today I wanted to just kind of talk about some of the capabilities that you have for protecting your users and your devices, when they're using them, in your pre-configured environment. So first and foremost, your data is always stored in the cloud, okay? It's not on your device. So when it's in the cloud, you know it's secure. The Google, as a data storage provider, is probably one of the most security-conscious companies on the planet, and they know what they're doing. They've got hundreds, maybe thousands of engineers that are working 24/7 on making sure that their platform is secure. And guess what? They've never been breached. So rather than have somebody leave their computer on a subway or a bus and for somebody else to pick it up and grab anything off of it with a USB stick, when things are stored in the cloud, there's a whole lot more security that you can put behind that to secure your information. Also, users can't turn off these security features at all. So if you deal with users on a day-to-day basis, you know that they have a tendency to try and get around the security features. It's never convenient for them, but it's there for their protection. Chromebooks were initially designed to be used in the educational market, so we know giving technology to students could be pretty dangerous, right? So step number one was making sure that they couldn't do anything they weren't supposed to do to endanger themselves or the devices. So they've carried that over now when they've expanded the whole capabilities of the Chromebooks platform for business. Nobody can disable these policies that you're setting in place for security reasons, even if they try. Even, let's say, malware happens to escape the sandbox, right? It never has before. Chrome is one of the single platforms on the planet that hasn't been compromised. But let's say that something escapes the sandbox. Well, everything is isolated. So when we talk about, a single session, if a user installs something that's dangerous or they access a site that tries to install malicious JavaScript, all you have to do is sign out. Because on every sign out, what it does is it clears everything from that machine. So nothing is ever persistent between sessions. So if a user gets into trouble and they think, oh no, my browser's going crazy, and I think I may have gotten a virus, tell them to close the lid, open it back up, and sign back in. They're ready to go. So you don't have to worry about going and sitting down with them and going over some of the viruses and manually removing or changing, editing registry keys and things like that.
Good old unplug it and plug it back in.
That's right. Yeah, someone has a problem, have you tried restarting? Everybody knows that one. But this time it actually works, right? When you sign into any Chromebook, it creates a private encrypted storage area for you, which means that anything that happens to be stored securely on the Chromebook can't be accessed outside of that single session from anything, okay? So a lot of you are familiar with Google Drive and Gmail. They have offline modes. The information that's being synced to that machine is being synced to encrypted storage so that nobody can even take out the hard drive and start trying to grab that information. Nobody will be able to access that information. You can also enforce safe browsing filters, so they'll warn users when they visit a website that's suspected to be compromised, right? Chrome and Google are constantly sitting on top of websites that may be serving malicious content, websites that may be dangerous or may be collecting things from nefarious reasons. And with that comes the ability for Chrome to say, hey, you're going to this website, let me check to see if it's safe first. And when it comes up, and when it comes up unsafe, big red banner displays to your users that says, you're about to enter a website that's been deemed unsafe and may potentially cause you harm. So you can actually disable the ability for them to go through that at all. There's no way they can use their Chromebook to jump into an insecure server and start sharing information they shouldn't. Lastly, unlike PCs, Chrome devices don't need third-party antivirus software, which is big, right? It's something that you don't have to pay for. You don't need to install McAfee or Norton or anything like that. You basically, that's all rolled into the environment. Chrome devices are a specific OS that are designed for security, so people just don't write viruses that can or have the ability to compromise a Chrome device. So you don't have to waste time configuring that software, quarantining and removing files and malicious content every once in a while. And then especially for your users, things aren't slowed down by running constant antivirus checks and things, daily backups or antivirus rolling antivirus checks. Security updates are automatically pushed out to devices, whether you change a security setting or Google updates the security platform. When something happens, every 6 weeks on average, the OS is updated. But when something is released or something is determined to be a bug, Google's already on top of it, and they've got something to work against that. So you'll see those updates come in and protect you even before your users have had a chance to expose themselves. And then last thing is that we've all seen malicious Flash ads. Well, good news, those are only targeted towards Windows and Mac systems. Chromebooks are totally immune. Even though Flash is supported, there's no possible way for them to get an inroad into the Chrome OS software. So I know we talked about it last time, but there's a hacker conference every year where they put bounties on breaking into browsers and machines and devices. People get anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 and more just for compromising a phone or getting data out of a Windows machine. Basically breaking into Safari or Internet Explorer. Every year Internet Explorer gets broken into. Chrome is the one platform that has been completely outside that. There's a huge bounty for breaking into Chrome because no one's ever done it before. So to date, no one's ever compromised Google Chrome or Chrome OS. So I think now, after we've just talked about how secure Chrome is, let's talk about boot time, right?
Yeah. Catch your breath for a minute.
I talk a lot.
But yeah, the booting up and the speed of Chrome devices is super quick. A device boots in less than 10 seconds. Google likes to say 8 seconds, but it honestly varies on the device. But a good average is 10 seconds, which is still light speeds ahead of a PC.
Yeah, when you think about when you boot up a Windows or a Mac system, you maybe get to the login screen in 10 seconds, but then it takes 30 seconds after that to let everything start, and a virus takes a while to boot up, and it just runs through and checks all the file systems, and it could take a while. And during that time, you hear all like the fans spinning, and everything's just frustrating when you sign in. You can't do anything for another minute. So I think 10 seconds, from hitting the power button to actually browsing to a website is pretty outstanding.
Definitely. Yeah, my PC now is a year old and probably takes 5 minutes to boot up. The same thing with a Chrome device. You can resume your instance. Even if you close the lid, you can open it up and you'll be back right where you are. So you don't have to worry about losing anything unless you completely log out of your session. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And now with USB Type-C, you have a lot of quick charging options for new devices that come out. So you don't have to spend hours charging your Chrome device. It can be done in maybe an hour at that and take a full charge.
Yeah, I like that. I saw some pretty beautiful ones coming out pretty recently. So we're a big Chromebook nerds. So every new one that comes out, we're like, oh, I want that.
Pretty much everything Chrome related is fast. Boot up speed, charging. It's light and portable. So
yeah,
it's perfect to carry around with you.
Yeah, and they weigh like 5 ounces.
Yeah. Not 20 pounds.
We've got one, the Asus Flip, which is, it's very lightweight. You can use it as a kind of a laptop, but you can flip it around and use it as a tablet. And so it kind of goes into touchscreen mode. And I think that weighs, about as much as my Nexus 6 phone, which, granted, that phone's huge.
Mitch right here, he would love showing that off.
Yeah,
Our founder
that's
uses
right.
the Flip for his main computer right now, so.
That's right. Yeah, he uses it every single day. So there are plenty of roles, and we talked about this last time. They can use a Chromebook every single day as their primary device. So now I want to jump into talking a little bit more about specific industries, right? We talked about roles last time, sales executives, support people, HR representatives that can basically live on a Chromebook, have the benefit of carrying around a 5-ounce machine and having all the power that they're used to having. But there are specific industries that really benefit from Chrome devices as well, whether it's kiosk or signage, for anywhere from their workforce to, just advertising. The first is financial, right? We've learned, especially I think in the past year, that the finance industry is ripe for using Google Apps, using the secure platform in the cloud, and kind of showing off, how fast things can be, as well as being just as secure as we need them to be. But Chromebooks are actually, they provide the U.S. Department of Defense with an extreme level of security that they're not used to getting without installing crazy amounts of special hardware that they've developed onto Windows PCs and Macs as well. So their industries that lead this are like banking, insurance, government for sure, money management, financial planning. All of these have platforms that you can run on Chrome OS and make sure that none of that financial data is escaping the device or the environment, make sure that users are safe when they're browsing, and that none of it is saved in between sessions. So when I'm done using my computer and I've been handling all of your $1,000,000 accounts, I close my laptop or close my Chromebook, the lid, and all of that data is no longer on that device. It's back in the cloud where it belongs. So there are a lot of other financial institutions, like financial service organizations, that are big users of virtualization, right? We've got large servers that are run internally that house a lot of data, and so Chromebooks are perfect for being able to pull up, connection directly to that server, to that virtualized environment, especially through something like Citrix. That works perfectly. It can boot up straight into Citrix. I can use that environment and close out of it so that none of the information even escapes that one virtualized server. So there's a lot of power that you can build inside your own walls and still use it. And then lastly, we talked about self-service kiosks, right? Being able to lock down into a single app so that, when we have bank tellers, they can open their bank teller software and manipulate that and things like that, but they can't open, a separate browser window and start going to YouTube or any other, sites that may be distracting or unsafe for bank tellers to access. So we can kind of lock them into exactly what they need to do. And then if they want to go to YouTube, they can go on their phone in their break or something like that. So the key concerns in the financial industry are always security, 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 right? With the ability to virtualize applications, it's really easy to make sure that the ones that you use now can already be used on a Chromebook. So you don't necessarily have to upgrade much in order to start rolling out Chromebooks to everywhere. And then, of course, when we're talking about money, we always talk about cost effectiveness. So Chromebooks range anywhere from less than $200 all the way up to the cost of the MacBook, which would be $1,200, right? So you can find a Chromebook that fit any market. And it used to be that there were very cheap ones, very lightweight, kind of plasticky ones, and then some very high-end metal, expensive ones. The ones that we just talked about that are rolling out pretty soon, Dell, HP, Asus, Acer, they're all rolling out a lot of mid-range prices where you can get some pretty beautiful hardware for really low costs. We're talking $300-400. Touch screens, 4 gigs of RAM, plenty of power behind what you're using day to day. So individual and shared devices, kiosks, they can all be used. And then we always talk about the conversation starters, when we're talking to somebody in the financial industry, and we talked about the Department of Defense, the ease of management, being able to give, let's say, all of your generals a Chromebook. You can imagine these, 5-star generals using Chromebooks, and then being able to push out exactly what they need to them right away and pull back, if somebody leaves, like I said, if somebody leaves financial data or government secrets on a laptop, on a Chromebook in a cab, you can just totally wipe that device. So what's another one that we were going to talk about today?
Manufacturing.
That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. We've been focusing a lot on manufacturing recently, and when you think about manufacturing, you think it might not first think that it's a high-tech business, but it really is. Mm-hmm. It's from the CEO all the way down to the line workers. People do need access to computers and storage and everything like that. And with Chrome devices, obviously your line workers probably don't sit in front of a computer, so they all don't individually need their own, so you can have separate workstations set up for them, and they have the ability to log into those devices with their accounts. Once again, pull up just their specific information and it won't affect anybody else. So that's another way to keep in mind that manufacturing is very high tech with sorts of things like that. Manufacturing is also concerned with security. Pretty much everybody these days is concerned about security.
Mm-hmm.
And also cost effectiveness. Nobody wants to waste money on PCs that don't get used or need constant repair from your IT professionals, telling them out to fix stuff. Also reliability and the durability of these devices. So a lot of these devices, they're not all like cheapo plastic. A lot of them are hard case metal, so you don't have to worry about banging things. They're very secure.
Yeah, definitely. I could see, like, even if you wanted to go the sub $200 route and get something, and let's say your worker drops it into like a press, it's really cheap to replace.
Yeah, that too. If the worker's dropping it in a press, there's probably other issues. But yeah, with this as well, virtualization, you can do the same thing. If you need to access things on your Microsoft server that's only Microsoft related, you can get a VPN and log right into there and get right what you need. I went through the shared floor devices for management. They have the opportunities to do their administration for personnel and things like that. We touched on last time HR, having the right apps available to you at the right time. So Chrome devices are a very reliable and cost-effective way for pretty much anybody in the manufacturing business. Even if you're not in a factory, say you're a construction worker out in the field, you can have that flip and have access to it and use it as a pad, but still be using Chrome. So
Yeah,
it's very handy.
that's a good point. Pull up blueprints and things like that.
Yep, exactly.
Another good industry is media, right? So, like, especially, I think, lately we've seen a lot of medias go Google and start using Google Drive. We've got unlimited storage that we can use in the cloud. So why not throw all of our, 100 gigabyte video files and commercials and artwork resources in there? We don't have to pay for just terabytes and terabytes of information on premise that can get pretty cost exclusive, but instead we just throw up everything into Google, which means that on our Chromebooks, everybody has access to the exact same resources. Everything's in the cloud. So if I need to access the latest artwork for our campaign about Chromebooks, let's say, we're helping people learn about Chromebooks, I can pull out all that information. Obviously we've got the slideshow presentations that people put together that Ashley expertly put together for us today. All of that is easily accessible on the Chromebook. So if the primary storage can be set to Google Drive. So everything that I save gets saved into Google Drive right off the bat. And there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with media as well. So we're talking about storing things, but also I think most of the platforms that people use in media nowadays are in the cloud as well. So Adobe Creative Cloud basically allows anybody to access the Adobe Creative Suite from any device, right? You can pull it up on your phone, but it's nice to have a keyboard and a screen and maybe a touch screen so that you can start working on those resources and assets in the cloud and not have to worry about like downloading them all down to your machine, waiting for an installation and things like that. So media pretty much lives online. Storage, creativity, and productivity is all in the cloud. And then, when we're online, when we're posting blog posts and we're, uploading or changing websites, that's pretty much all handled from a Chromebook. So you can deploy all the tools that people need and give them regular access to exactly, the environment that you're storing things into by just, pushing out a Chromebook in 2 minutes and throwing it at them. It's ready to go. So I think the media industry is definitely adopting a lot more Chromebooks, on a day-to-day basis, so that people don't have to set up a $1,500 computer now just to do a little video editing or photo editing. And then I think the last one, or one of the last ones, was healthcare.
Yeah,
that's big lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and since Google Apps is HIPAA compliant, you don't have to worry about any security issues, anything like that. All of your data is secure when using your Google Apps accounts. And with healthcare, there's a wide range, obviously, of positions. You could go from hospital workers all the way down to home healthcare workers that go out to people on site to assist with their needs. So once again, you can have the kiosk stations set up for doctors and nurses at a hospital, or if you have people that go on site, you can just give them, for example, another flip. They can take that there. So as long as they have access to Wi-Fi or data, they have the opportunity to connect to everything that they need. And nowadays, everything at a hospital is kind of web-based as well. And so you have access to that. If it's not, you can have the opportunity to transfer to web-based or have a virtualization option to connect to whatever databases or company-specific programs that they use. So once again, I would say the most concerns people have with healthcare are speed and reliability. So, because when you're dealing with hundreds of patients a day, you need to be able to move quickly. You don't want your computer lagging, taking 10 minutes to start up.
Yeah.
You just want to open it, have it there, and do your stuff. So that's a great thing about that. And now we also touched on long battery life. A lot of these devices last an entire day on a battery, so you don't have to come back at lunch, plug it in, or make sure you don't move that too far from your power cord. So that's something cool about them as well.
Yeah. Well, the last time I was in the doctor's office, just to kind of highlight some of the deficiencies, I think, of setting up a computer in each patient room, was that they put the computer in the corner facing away from the patient. So he has to sit down, he's got the monitor in front of him and the keyboard, and he's got to log into like Internet Explorer and face away from me and turn around and go like, okay, well, were you allergic to anything? So so I'm gonna bring him a Chromebook next time, so you can just carry that around.
You don't want to talk to people that use Internet Explorer anyway. So
That's true. I don't want my doctor using Internet Explorer. It's not secure.
True. So yeah, once again, the shared devices are a great thing. So not every doctor or nurse needs their own device. They can have separate stations set up for everybody. So yeah, it's just pretty much Chrome devices can work for any field that you think of. It's pretty much hard pressed to find any that it really wouldn't work for these days.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked a lot about HIPAA today and security, but there's basically endless use cases. You can use Chrome devices for anything. If it's on the internet, you can push it out. It doesn't even have to be on the internet, right? You can prepackage a Chrome app or something like that and send it out to devices as long as they sync. They're centrally managed. So if you can build it, basically you can push it out to a Chromebook. Whether you contact Alex here, who loves to throw together all this kind of crazy stuff that he does with the Chromebooks and push them out custom apps and things like that, or if it already exists, it's easy, deploy it in a couple seconds. So next time we're going to talk about how we can kind of replace the older stuff that we're using. Kind of solving the Microsoft problem. If we're stuck on this environment of having to log into a system like an accounting system that only works on Windows, how do we get that out so we don't have to continue to kind of stay in the past there. So next time we'll go over a lot of that stuff. I think today there's a lot to think about, all the different things you can do with it. But next time we'll talk about virtualization and fixing everything that's already broken. So getting rid of Internet Explorer.
It'll be a great day.
Yeah, definitely. All right. See you next time, guys.
Thank you. Feel free. We have the slide up here right now with the chrome@cloudbakers.com email. Feel free, if you want to email this address, this will go straight to myself, Tristan, and Jason. So you won't just be emailing me and I'll have to get info from them. You can email them directly, which is kind of cool. So feel free to use that. And once again, thank you so much for joining us.